One thing you'll see quite a lot online these days is people claiming that 1984 was supposed to be a work of fiction and not an instruction manual. That quote has been so overused and sometimes incorrectly used that it's become something of a cliche. You get some people out there mocking its use. But like most things you see online, while it may not be used completely accurately, like any cliche, there is some truth in there somewhere. So in this video I thought I'd take a look at 1984 alongside Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, the other dystopian classic, to see what world we're really living in now. 1984 is famously a story about overarching state control, a state that impacts every single level of your life. Everything you do is being listened to and watched, and if you step outside of what the leading party wants, you will be met via brutal measures. Now, despite this ostensibly being a warning about Soviet communism, 1984 and Orwell have become bywords for any form of modern tyranny or political control. Political correctness is the obvious example here, where your speech is policed and anything that you do say which goes too far may get you a visit from the police. Brave New World was published quite a while before 1984 and is based in London, which is part of a quote-unquote world state. People there are based into classes, essentially based on their labour value in a supposed utopian scientific society. Citizens based within this society, however, may not be quite as happy as they seem, and they manage that unhappiness and sense of meaninglessness with a drug called soma. There is also a worship of a sort of secular prophet in the name of Henry Ford. This is a comment on material society, the production line of modern man, and so forth. So in essence, we have 1984, which is a sort of militaristic tyranny based on the authoritarian communist mold, versus Brave New World, where you have more demoralized, indoctrinated masses who resign themselves to semi-conscious states of hedonism so they don't question any political order. So which would you say is more prominent in a modern life? I mean, I think that we can see examples of Orwellian and Huxleyan behaviour in the modern world, maybe even a combination of both more accurately, but personally I'd say Brave New World probably edges it in describing our modern world. What I mean is, while you do see Orwellian examples of state overreach, especially with regards to the farce of political correctness in the modern world, I think Brave New World is more accurate in expressing how power tends to function these days. What I mean is, if you look at the modern world, you'll see that while some people are still quite interested in politics and what's going on in our world, the masses are still quite happy if they can have Love Island football and drink and drugs at the weekend. Another key reason power functions in this way is because it's very costly and obvious for a state to behave in a tyrannical manner. It creates the potential of civil war and so forth. As Aldous Huxley stated in a letter to George Orwell, whether in actual fact the policy of the boot on the face can go on indefinitely seems doubtful. My own belief is that the ruling oligarchy will find less arduous and wasteful ways of governing and of satisfying its lust for power. The author Neil Postman also contrasted the works of Orwell and Huxley quite helpfully. He stated, what Orwell feared were those who would ban books. What Huxley feared was that there would be no reason to ban a book, for there would be no one who wanted to read one. Orwell feared those who would deprive us of information. Huxley feared those who would give us so much that we would be reduced to passivity and egoism. Orwell feared that the truth would be concealed from us. Huxley feared the truth would be drowned in a sea of irrelevance. He concludes, in short, Orwell feared that what we hate will ruin us. Huxley feared that what we love will ruin us. I think that last line has a lot of resonance. What we love can destroy us. I think that's also why the modern world has done quite a lot to skew how men see themselves, i.e. the transcendent has largely been chased out of the modern world. Things such as love, justice, beauty, order, all of these things are of an older world now. Now instead we worship the material, whether that's money, celebrities, rappers, cars, material possessions, sex and lust and so on. This is how our modern system maintains a lot of its political control. That's why I also speak a lot on this channel about moving towards a life of physical, mental and spiritual health. This turning away from the easy pleasures and drama of the world isn't just for some self-centered pursuit of personal growth, it's to help you spiritually, it's to help us collectively to move away from the nihilism of modernity and back towards something meaningful. That is, in my mind at least, how a healthy future will be born. These are just some of my thoughts, however. Do let me know what you think down below and do consider subscribing to the channel.